Hey everyone, Mike Miller, the Herald Times, joined by columnist Jeremy Price, coming to you after Indiana's 87-67 win over Eastern Michigan. I believe that's, three straight wins now for IU?
Yes.
Heading into the big one, Wednesday, 9:30 here at Assembly Hall against number one Duke. This was actually, all things considered, a really encouraging performance going into that game, I think.
It was. The largest margin of victory, really best all-around game of the season. And, you know, we've kind of been waiting. We've seen little flashes and glimpses. I think it wasn't, I don't think anybody confuse it for a 40-minute performance necessarily.
Right.
But the peaks and valleys were maybe ironed out a little bit today. And that's going a long way in the correct direction for this team.
Definitely. Did a lot of things well today. Handled a tough Eastern Michigan zone with ease from the beginning. Didn't really cause them any prolonged stretches of trouble. Got some three-pointers. Got really steady play from their senior guards, Rob Johnson, Josh Newkirk, who, in Newkirk's case, this was his best game of the year. So yeah, I think you're seeing some signs and takeaways that lead you into that game on Wednesday, believing or at least seeing the notion of progress is becoming more and more apparent.
It is, and what's kind of interesting here is you're looking at a Duke team coming in that has been forced to play quite a bit of zone this season because Coach K feels like his young team really isn't quite grasping the man-to-man concepts, and it really is getting beat too much in man-to-man. So Indiana's actually well prepared if that's the case. Next week, if Duke's going to roll out a zone, they've seen a lot of zone so far this season and really are starting to handle it well. And I think what was encouraging today was both first half and second half, Indiana started working on the inside, got the ball in the middle of the lane, got the ball to the baseline, a lot of interior passing, those kind of things. And then they were able to work the ball out for those open three-pointers as a result of that, rather than forcing the three-pointers first to try and open up the inside. They got the inside going first. So that's another big thing. And obviously, for a team that has, what shall we say, struggled against zones in recent years,
Really?
It's kind of strange to see.
No, I think Alex Bozich of Inside the Hall actually had a tweet at one point during the game. This was the best zone offense from Indiana, and how long? I mean, it really, seriously, it was impressive, especially coming on a tight turnaround. Obviously, Indiana has seen zone at times this season early on, but it was an impressive look. You mentioned three-pointers. One of them, on the only shot he took of the day, was from Colin Hartman playing in his first real game since the 2016 NCAA tournament. Good for him to get back. Good for Indiana, because I think, as we saw, even in that little, he only played 6 minutes, but in that little burst early on when he got in there, I mean, you could just feel it was a little bit different team out there in a very good way.
Yeah, well, it was a different everything when Colin Hartman came in the game. I mean, he was only in the game for less than 2 minutes in that initial stretch, but just the buzz in the building. I think Assembly Hall probably felt more like Assembly Hall than it has at any point this season.
Absolutely.
And then he knocks down that three, and it goes up another notch. And, the team just has to feed off of that. There's no doubt about it. Just him being back alone would feed them, and then to hear the crowd go crazy like that, I think there's so many positive ramifications from just his returning, no matter how much he can play, just every little bit that he's on the floor. And he's such a steadying influence. I mean, we were talking about attacking that zone. You put him in the middle of that zone and just look at the decisions he made, the passes he made, put people in the right position, put the ball where it needed to go. And he makes those decisions so much more quickly than maybe other guys that are trying to think their way through the offense at this point. That's where that veteran experience really kicks in for this team. And again, just that calming influence. I think having him on the floor is almost like a security blanket for this team. And then when you get Newkirk and Robert Johnson shooting the ball well the way they are today, obviously feeling a lot better at those games, about their games, you get three seniors, three veterans that actually feel good about things, that feel confident about things, and are sort of buying into the new way of doing things. I think that rubs off down the line to the younger guys. So, I can't say enough positive things that result from Colin Hartman being back on the floor.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And altogether, really, this was, we've touched on it, but it was a gritty win, too. It was, you saw longer segments of sustained good basketball, but you also saw a lot of the hustle plays that we had seen in doses from Juwan Morgan specifically. But, I think that filtered down. Guys like Freddie McSwain gave IU some nice run today. Hartman, it felt different than a lot of these other wins, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Archie Miller was talking about just feeling more comfortable going to the bench and just putting guys in. I mean, Zach McRoberts, has been MIA most of the season, really. And Archie's as much as said, well, I'd like to find a way of getting more minutes, but I don't know how. Well, today he just threw him in there, and boom, another nice performance, nice boost off the bench. And, with guys getting in foul trouble, Deron Davis, that continues to be an ongoing trend that's not a good one. Juwan Morgan is hit and miss on foul trouble. Hartman picked up 2 fouls real quick when he was in the first half. But you throw those guys like Freddie McSwain and Zach McRoberts in there, and they have a little bit of success. That lengthens your bench. It lengthens your options, and again gives Archie Miller that feeling that I can turn to some different things, push some different buttons if things aren't going well. There's some options here to kind of get things going in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. So, kind of set the stage for you here. Duke, 9:30 Wednesday. This will be a different animal, unlike anything Indiana's seen or probably will see all year long. It's a really good team, although I think we're actually doing this right after the game, and I think Duke was down, 10 points at one point to Texas?
Yeah, I think it's.
So we'll see.
It was down to 6 or 7 the last I saw.
Yeah, but they will. It'll be Duke, and it'll be interesting to see how this team kind of comes out in that game, because you kind of expect Assembly Hall to be rocking for that.
Mm-hmm.
Most teams don't have an issue getting up for Duke. It's Duke, and I think a lot of these guys remember that game in 2015 too. How that one snowballed, and that one, they kind of wore that one for a little bit too.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt.
I'm really curious just to kind of see how they come out on Wednesday, and how and if they're able to sustain it.
Well, a lot of times I think we've seen in the past, at least in recent years, when Indiana gets these types of games, they come out and really blitz you offensively. This team's not built so much to do that exactly, but if they can feed off that energy that's going to be in this building and translate it to the defensive end and really apply some pressure and play hard, hustle, hit the glass, those kind of things, that's where it can trigger things early on against a Duke team that, while immensely talented, is also immensely young at this point. Yeah. And, I'm sure they've got a lot of guys that have seen a lot of things, and you still have a guy like Grayson Allen, who's obviously been through anything you could possibly imagine, but, Assembly Hall is something different even for any young guy or any player really that hasn't been here. So I think that there's an opportunity there for Indiana to play that to its advantage. Obviously, you can't ride that for 40 minutes. At some point, you have to actually execute on the floor. But at least at the outset, if Indiana could ride that to a decent start, then I think we could at least have an entertaining game.
I think there's definitely that potential. We will see. First, we might have an entertaining bucket game tomorrow afternoon up in West Lafayette. So we got to get out of here, get some sleep, wake up for the early ride to West Lafayette. We'll be up there tomorrow watching IU pursue a third consecutive bowl bid.
Can't wait.
Won't be easy, but should be entertaining nonetheless. Bucket games usually are.
Absolutely.
So you will see us right back here. Same bat channel.
Not the same bad time.
Not the same bad time, but
I hope.
it is a bad time. It is a bad time.
Bad time.
It's an early morning. Anyway, thanks, guys. We'll see you.
See you.